There are moments in a nation's story when fear takes over the streets, when desperation breeds violence, and when ordinary lives are shattered in the blink of an eye. South Africa is living through one of those moments now, a crisis that has spread far beyond protest lines and into townships, cities, schools, and homes. Across KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, the Western Cape, Free State, and parts of Mpumalanga, scenes of chaos, panic, and looting have gripped communities as mobs, some organized, many sparked by rumor or frustration, target shops and properties belonging to foreign nationals. What began as anti-immigrant demonstrations has morphed into a wave of violent looting and community breakdown that shows little sign of slowing. In Estcourt, KwaZulu-Natal, local residents defied a court order and began looting shops reportedly owned by foreign nationals. Videos shared by SABC News and eyewitnesses show shelves stripped bare, doors smashed, and terrified owners trying to protect what little they can. Market stalls have been emptied, clothing stores gutted, and food supplies taken in day-bright light. Not far away in Pietermaritzburg and Durban, similar scenes have unfolded. In one viral video, a woman was assaulted inside her salon after refusing to close it at the demand of protesters. She was slapped, intimidated, and forced shut. She has since stated her intention to open a criminal case, but for now, her livelihood hangs by a thread. Local social media users reacted with shock and sadness, describing the incident as South Africa at its lowest point. Looting has spread to Johannesburg's Alexandra Township, where foreign-owned spaza shops were stripped of stock as mobs rifled through shelves, picking up food, electronics, and clothing. In Soweto and Midrand, informal traders reported being forced to barricade themselves inside their homes as looters shouted xenophobic chants and smashed windows. Fruit and vegetable stores, vital sources of daily income, were overwhelmed and emptied in minutes. In Cape Town's Belleville and Parow districts, anti-migration marches earlier in the week drew thousands. While some were peaceful protests against undocumented immigration, others devolved into attacks on storefronts and informal traders. Videos show mobs breaking down gates and taking goods from immigrant-run businesses. Many foreign shop owners chose to close preemptively, but those who stayed behind reported intimidation and threats. The tension exploded on social media, where looters, many young and jobless, openly posted photos and videos of stolen goods, proudly displaying them with captions revealing the extent of the economic desperation driving some of the attacks. One video showed a man walking down a street in KwaMashu, brandishing household items as if trophies, while others celebrated what they described as taking what is ours. This widespread unrest comes on the heels of ongoing anti-immigrant marches organized by groups like March and March, Operation Dudula, and other civic coalitions. These movements initially called for stricter immigration control and prioritizing citizens for jobs and services, demands rooted in the real frustrations of high unemployment and deteriorating infrastructure. But as protests intensified, many shifted from political demands to violent action, targeting those they see as outsiders. What makes this crisis particularly alarming is not just the violence, it is the involvement of school children and entire neighborhoods. In Krafontein, Cape Town, groups of learners from multiple schools took to the streets, chanting for foreign nationals to leave while throwing stones, confronting teachers, and looting nearby stalls. Some footage shows uniformed learners forcing shopkeepers to close and join the larger march. This signals a disturbing spread of resentment into the youth population. Children who should be learning and protected are now participating in mob action. In Durban's Umlazi and KwaMashu high school pupils have been filmed joining in demonstrations, attacking foreign-owned spaza shops and blockading roads. Many of these students told journalists they believe foreign nationals steal their jobs or take opportunities away from local citizens. Whether true or not, this misplaced blame highlights a deep crisis of frustration among youth who feel abandoned by economic systems that have offered them little hope. The looting has become so widespread that entire commercial districts resemble ghost towns. In Bloemfontein's Rockland area, nearly 100 suspects were detained after mobs reportedly looted liquor outlets and other stores. Police had to secure the area with heavy presence as nearby streets emptied and businesses shuttered. Similar closures occurred in Pretoria, Stellenbosch, Port Elizabeth and East London, where foreign-run businesses have opted to close indefinitely for safety reasons. The impact on everyday life is profound. Customers once shopping freely now walk past shuttered stores. Vendors who built businesses over years now sit on sidewalks staring at broken glass and emptied shelves. Parents hesitate to send their children to local markets. Workers report losing income. Some families have even resorted to boarding up homes, reinforcing doors, and staying indoors at night. Many foreign nationals, including Ghanaians, Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Kenyans, Somalis, and others, have taken drastic steps for safety. Some have fled to safer provinces, others have voluntarily registered for repatriation. In Durban, dozens of Ghanaian nationals were seen heading towards Limpopo and neighboring regions after months of enduring intimidation. At OR Tambo International Airport, hundreds of Ghanaian citizens boarded flights home, visibly distressed, thanking authorities for evacuation support and breaking down in tears upon arrival in Accra as they recounted weeks of fear, threats, and harassment. These movements are not just about economics or crime, they are about security, community breakdown, and fear. Many migrants report that neighbors they once trusted have turned hostile. One woman shared footage of her clothes and belongings dumped in the street after mobs stormed her apartment building, leaving her in tears. Others have reported seeing their children chased or yelled at in school corridors simply for being foreign.
Across South Africa, local authorities and civil rights groups have condemned the looting and violence. Human rights activists stress that xenophobia is not a solution to economic hardship and that attacking innocent families undermines the nation's moral integrity. However, critics argue that the government's response has been slow and ineffective, leaving communities to fend for themselves as law enforcement struggles to contain the unrest. Compounding the crisis is the perception that criminal elements are using immigration to hide illegal activities. In Durban, the arrest of a Nigerian man allegedly selling dangerous drugs to schoolchildren ignited additional anger toward foreign nationals. Rumors and fear concerning drug abuse, gang activity, and underground economies have been woven into public narratives, intensifying resentment and justifying violent actions in the minds of some participants. The education system has not been spared. In multiple cities, schools are disrupted, classes are cancelled, and foreign teachers have reported threats. In some neighborhoods, students walk home early to avoid escalating violence, leaving academic schedules in disarray. The long-term damage on children's education and psychological well-being is worrying educators and parents alike. Law enforcement agencies, including the South African Police Service (SAPS) and municipal police units, have ramped up deployments in affected areas, but resources are stretched thin. In some districts, police presence has been met with resistance or hostility, leaving residents feeling unprotected. In others, authorities have resorted to curfews and restraining orders, attempting to de-escalate violence, but progress has been slow. Citizens themselves are calling for calm and accountability. Community leaders emphasize that criminal behavior, whether by citizens or foreign nationals, should be dealt with through lawful channels, not mob justice. Many acknowledge genuine economic grievances, but warn that violent looting and scapegoating migrants will only tear communities apart. The broader implications are stark. South Africa's international reputation has been shaken, with diplomatic missions from Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and other nations issuing warnings to their citizens and urging South African authorities to ensure safety and uphold the rule of law. The crisis has become a continental concern, highlighting the challenges of migration, inequality, and social cohesion in Africa's most industrialized nation. As cities continue to struggle with daily outbreaks of violence and looting, the urgency for long-term solutions grows louder. Economists, social scientists, and community activists agree that addressing unemployment, improving infrastructure, expanding opportunities for youth, and fostering inclusive community dialogue are vital steps to reversing the cycle of violence. But in the immediate moment, the streets remain tense, markets are closed, families are afraid to walk home after sunset, and the future feels uncertain. Business owners count losses in thousands, families mourn disrupted lives, and children watch their neighborhoods transform into battlefields. Across South Africa, the echoes of shattered glass and frightened footsteps remind us that fear can consume a nation. For some, it is about opportunity and survival. For others, it is about loss, displacement, and vulnerability. What remains clear is this: violence against the innocent will not restore hope, and only unity, not fear, can lead South Africa out of its darkest hours.